I mean... Okay, now we're talking. Now this is how we do it. What's up guys, Pidget here. Insane clear, decent signal target damage, pretty good tonkiness. I took Jungroan base idea and tried to make the build tonky as possible. Our skill choice is detonated of chain reaction. You targeting a corpse and you will causing the corpse to explode, and this will deal a percentage of the corpse health as fire damage. This will continue to target other corpses in area until it runs out of the corpses or destroyed 8 corpse. We have another skill this time, volatile of confinement. You targeting a corpse and you will causing the corpse to explode, and it will summon an orb that will be there for 1.5 seconds and then it will explode. We need Desecrate to able to trigger these spells. Using Lancing Steel or Spraying and Custom Crit, with this we will trigger Desecrate to get corpses that we can detonate. Adding to the mix Archmage to increase the damage even further. Because of that we need to stack mana as well. With that much investment we reaching 7.6k mana, which is decent if we considering, sadly, I was not able to get mana on all of our items. We will reach 100% critical chance with attack and with the spells, and we're not using expensive Forbidden Flame and Flash Javel setup. We are achieving this with 4 minimum power charges from the Ascendancy, Diamond Flask with increased critical chance while the flask is active, Brittle Ground from the boots and Assassin's Mark, and taking all the good crit nodes from the tree. My favorite part is the Tonkiness on the defensive side. All of the flask has 100% uptime, and because of that we can increase our maximum resistance with the flask, so the elemental damage will be not a problem. We're reaching this with my signature item, Tides of Time. This will give us flash charge generation, but that alone not enough, so we're taking a few flask node on the tree and charge recovery mod on the flasks. As I said, we're stacking mana, so it's pretty easy choice, the Arcane Cloak. This will give us massive defensive boost while also increasing our damage by a lot. Using a Watcherite that giving us tons of energy shield as well, so we can have almost 5k energy shield. For the first time, we were using Mind over Matter. 40% of damage is taken from mana before life. Also taking from the Ascendancy Divine Guidance, this will give another 10%. So 50% of the damage we are taken from our mana. The build is pretty good overall. The clear is super good, but I encountered a problem, and that is when our guard skill is not up. We can die to the Cirrus Meteor or anything big hitting spells or abilities. So for this fight I was needed to manually cast the skill if I wanted to tank it. Another problem, the visual clarity is non-existence. Sometimes you will stand in the bad stuff, but you will not see. And the biggest drawback for me from this build is the performance. The build is killing the frame rates pretty hard even on single target fights. So if you have a weaker PC, then do not play this build. Let's take a look on the items. The most important piece of this build is the weapon. We need an Elder and a Shaper influenced weapon, and it has to be an axe because we're using triggered socketed fire spells on hit with a cooldown. This can be only applied on axes. So the stats we're looking for is socketed gems are supported level 20 increased critical strike and increased critical damage, and because of that we were getting the crit multi and increased critical strike with the weapon. And we need to craft hits cannot be evaded because you will not hit the 100% hit chance otherwise. And how are you getting spell damage on this one? Well, you need to use a Veiled Orb. And honestly guys, if you was watching my shorts, you know this was costed me almost 50 divine dispel damage modifier and the mana regen unveil. So I would say before you doing something big, craft the base axe without the spell damage and just test out how you liking the build or how it performs, because as I said, the performance of this build is very bad if your PC can't handle it. In the offhand we're using the Squire, so this is I think the second time I using the Squire, so it's a pretty good item by the way. I really liking it. And we obviously using this to support or detonated of chain reaction and volatile dead in the main hand, so we can run around double 7 link spells, so that's pretty good. And this will give us our base damage. We're using gloves obviously, so we need suppression whenever on hit, so this will increase the spell damage the monsters is taking. Yes, so I tried to aim mana on every single piece, but you will see soon, for example, here we don't have mana, we have mana here obviously, but we don't have mana here, and we have a little mana here, but even on the body armor we doesn't have mana. We could be a little bit more tonkier. I think if you're getting more mana, you can get almost 9k mana easily if all of your item has mana on it. And on the boots, obviously movement speed, life, suppression again, avoid elemental elements, crafted elemental avoidance as well. So we can have 100% elemental avoidance with this, and drops bitter ground while moving. This is pretty important as well, because this is how we can get 100% critical strike chance against bosses. And honestly, if you not really want to bother with this one, you will get like 93%, so that's pretty close to 100, so it's not a big deal if you not really trying to position yourself, but you will lose out a little bit damage. The helmet is not something really insane, just again suppression, mana, life, chaos resistance, and crafted resistances. So this is, I would not say it's an insane one as well. And I'm using physical damage taken from hits as fire damage. It, by the way, doesn't matter which damage taken you're getting, only just not the chaos, and that's it. And maximum lightning resistance. And the body armor. So the body armor more it needs to this modifier. Flasks gain a charge every 3 seconds. With this and combined with the Tides of Time belt, the nodes from the tree, or Flask will have 100% uptime, and it will give us elemental resistance and maximum resistance, as you can see here. So yeah, that's a pretty good one. And yeah, guys, obviously we getting resistance capped from the flasks, so yeah, do not worry if your resistance is not good without the flasks. Okay, we're using a pretty fat chaos resistance ring, I can say this one, because this is giving us tons of chaos resistance. We getting capped basically with this one. This is giving us 76% chaos resistance. This is a pretty big one, so this is why it was so hard to hit mono on this, because I wanted chaos resistance, I was needed a little fire as well, and I wanted to craft something on the suffix as well. It was hard. I tried to slam it. As you can see, we have item rarity and energy shield, so it's not really do anything. Mana would be much better, but it is what it is. And we're using a cerulean ring base and fractured mana on it, and maximum life, fire, and fire and cold resistance. So this is how we getting capped, and we have dexterity from this ring as well, because if you was playing Archmage before, you know it, the build is need dexterity, but sadly the tree doesn't have too much, maybe 10 on the tree, and I think that's it. And obviously we're using this one, the Aziri Foible amulet with catalyst, right? So we increase the mana on this one, so, and it's perfect rod, so nearly perfect rod. Only the mana regeneration rate is not, but not really a big deal. We anointing True Strike, because this will give a critical strike chance on for the attacks and for the spells as well. So this is a pretty good one, and I think this is the, I would say, the most optimal one, because you want 100% critical strike chance with your Rising Steel of spraying because of custom critical, right? So yeah, this is, and okay, so, and we have finally the Tides of Time belt, and you need utility flask gain free charge every 3 seconds. That's mandatory, and you can have life flask gain as well. And the flasks, so it's pretty important, guys. You need charge recovery. This is how you can have 100% uptime on this free flask is mandatory, otherwise you will die, because capped elemental resistance. For mapping, I'm using a Quicksilver flask with critical strike during effect suffix, and when I'm doing boss fights, I just switching to the Diamond Flask, charge recovery, and increased critical strike during effect. So with this one, we can have almost 100% uptime on this flask, and the life flask is not really, you know, important to mention, so just life flask. This is how we recovering life if we need it. And the next one is the Pantheons. Pantheons, we using Soul of Solaris every time. So even on mapping, because I liking to run a little bit Jewish maps with critical strike multiplier, and honestly this will give you crit immunity and reduce elemental damage taken. If you haven't hit been recently, this is a pretty good one if you want to tank like Uber Cirrus Meteor and you know, the big hitting spells. And we using Soul of Tukohama, so we were getting 9% physical damage reduction when we standing still, and I upgraded life regeneration as well. 3 is nothing really insane, okay? So this is, I would say, a standard Archmage build 3. So, you know, Light of the Miming Jewel here with mana in the radius, and Unnatural Instinct like this. So we were getting from this node like almost holy moly, 1k mana alone this one, and even more from this one. So this is how we do it. And obviously we're using here the Healthy Mind, so you're getting, you know, converting your life nodes to mana nodes. Yeah, so this is why I said this is a pretty standard. Maybe the only thing is not standard here is the cluster javel. So Jungroan was using this one as well. So we have Thunderstruck and Dorian Lesson, medium cluster javel with quick getaway and pressure points. The same here, quick getaway and pressure points. And I want to mention we're using a pretty good javel here, crit multi with fire skills and crit multiplier with elemental skills, and 5% increase maximum life. And you can get this one pretty easily, just literally buy the base with the fractured mode and just reforge life till you hit something good that you really likes. And we need obviously a corrupted blood immunity, and I was able to purchase this one, maximum mana and all attributes. That's pretty good if you ask me. So yeah, that's the best one I think, because flat mana is much better than the percentage, because we have like 350% increased mana. So this is transitioning a pretty huge mana, right? Yeah, this is almost 200 mana alone, so yeah, that's pretty huge. We're using a Watcher here, increase critical strike while affected by Wrath, and gain 10% of maximum mana as maximum energy shield while affected by Clarity. So we obviously using, you know, Wrath, so this will increase our critical strike chance, and as I said, we need to reach 100% critical strike chance, or near 100% with the attack, so we can trigger the Desecrate and so on, so the build can work. So this is how I reached 100% with this javel, because otherwise you would need to take, you know, the Inquisitor javel, but let's be real here, guys, that would much more expensive, and I think we doesn't even have empty sockets for it. So this is how I've done it. And honestly, guys, so few words about the Ascendancy, but this is absolutely the same for every single Archmage build. So yeah, Divine Guidance, you know, Sanctuary Thoughts, Conviction of Power, and Arcane Blessing, and that's it. And now the gems. So let's start with our main skills. So we're using Detonated of Chain Reaction and Volatile of Confinement, and we're putting here Awakened Lightning Penetration support as well inside the weapon. That's pretty important. This free gem goes here, and in the offhand, because it will get supported because of the Squire, we were using Awakened Elemental Focus, Inspiration, and Archmage. In the body armor or trigger skill, Lasting Steel of Spraying, Awaken Custom Critical Strike Support, Mana Leech, Desecrate, and Increase Critical Strike Support. In the gloves or guide skill setup, Arcane Cloak, obviously, more duration, Arcane Surge, and automation, so it will automate itself on mapping. But as I said, guys, I was needed to self-cast this one on Uber Cirrus Meteor, otherwise you will die to it. Okay, guys, I tested multiple times and I died every time where my Arcane Cloak was not up. In the boots, Clarity, Urgence, Precision level 10, and Flame Dash. And in our helmet, Eternal Blessing, Sigil of Power, Assassin's Mark, and Wrath. I hope you enjoyed this video about Detonated of Chain Reaction and Volatile of Confinement Archmage, Custom Crit Desecrate Hierophant. If you have any question, please leave a comment below, or you can find me on twitch.tv/Pidgeot2. Also, I would like to say thank you for my Patreons for supporting me. Thanks again, guys. Thanks for watching. I was Pidgeot. See you next time.